Yeah, welcome to the fourth episode of the Startup Streaming Nights, live from our headquarters here in Potsdam, Griebnitzsee. My name is Christian. I am a startup advisor at Potsdam Transfer, and together with our wonderful team, I organize and host the Startup Streaming Night series. Today, I'm not alone. I have a co-moderator, my colleague Anita.
Hello.
Hello, Anita. Nice to have you.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure that you invited me again to support you here at the Startup Streaming Night, and I'm very much looking forward to today's event.
Maybe you could introduce yourself to the audience again, for those of the audience who didn't tune in at the third episode.
Yes, I'm Anita. I'm working here at the Startup Service in the field of entrepreneurship education. What that mean actually, like I'm designing and implementing the curricula for our international startup service here. So the most English-speaking events and workshops come from my end, basically. And yeah, maybe you already have heard about the event PLX, which takes place since almost 10 years in August in Potsdam. So I'm responsible for that event. And I'm very proud to announce that we will have our first international entrepreneurship lab together with an international partner in the end of June. So save the date for that event already.
All right, thank you, Anita. Today, the next 60 minutes will be all about international founding. As the title suggests, we invited amazing guests for you from our network, from our Potsdam ecosystem, and they will tell you and discuss with you what it means to be an international founder and why founding international is a great opportunity for you as a founder or entrepreneur to be. We start with a digital keynote by researcher, serial entrepreneur, and startup mentor Mike Richardson, who will share his remarkable story about or his journey from the US to Potsdam, Berlin, and founding multiple startups here in our ecosystem. And after a short Q&A with him, Anita will welcome founder and researcher Joseph Milogo, who is currently in our program, and international startup advisor Till Meiling, to discuss what specific opportunities you have at the University of Potsdam with your idea. But before we get started, Anita has some announcement about the stream, and Anita, please.
Yes, so as Christian mentioned already, we're streaming live from Potsdam Griebnitzsee, but we're very alone here. Due to the corona pandemic, we're still alone here, but we really like to connect with you all. So if you have questions to our speakers, please feel free to post your questions and your comments straight into the comment column, and we will try to deal with as many questions as possible, but please bear with us. The comments are at our site, only updated once a minute. So please bear with us for this delay. And don't worry also if not all the questions can be answered during the live stream. We would love to answer all the questions that are left in our live stream, like after live stream online networking event on WonderMe. All right, then Christian, what do you say? Shall we start?
Let's start. So I would like to welcome Mike Richardson at the stage.
Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me as a guest.
Hi, Mike. Hi. It's so great that you are joining us today. Maybe for the audience, I got to know Mike a few months ago as he was still working at the Potsdam Science Park in one of his startups. And I got to know Mike in our ecosystem as one of the most positive and inspiring people I've ever met, I have to admit. And that's why I'm so glad that he's here today, and he offered to share his story, his journey from the US to Potsdam, Berlin, with all ups and downs, and there are a lot of them, I promise, to us and to the audience. And without further delay, I would hand over to you, Mike. Mike, we said around 20 minutes, so I have my time timer as always. I put it to 20 minutes. And I would would say just start and inspire our audience.
Well, it's an honor, and it's pretty easy to inspire people in Potsdam because there's just such a rich ecosystem and so much energy. But to respect the audience's time, let's jump right into the slide deck. And let's hope a technologist like me can figure it out. You know, if you want to find a way to get a bunch of engineers arguing, put a screen projector. I believe you call it a beamer here in Germany. So I hope that lightens it up. But let's see. How do I do this, Christian? I do a share and then share screen and
you kill me.
Chrome tab, and here we go and present. All right, so are we all good? Can you see the screen, Christian and Anita?
Like,
no.
I can't see it from my side, actually.
Okay.
So let's try it again.
Okay, that's why we double check this. So let's see right here, share and present. Can we see it now?
Amazing, oh. Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is my honor to deliver the keynote for Startup Night #4, and we're calling this Reborn in Germany. So what I'll do is give you a short introduction, background, who I am, what my life was like in the United States, my escape to Germany, which led to a rebirth, and then my time in Potsdam. And of course, we'll wrap it all up. But what I'd like to start with is that I have a personal guiding myth, and that is the Hydra. And I choose anti-fragility. And I think you'll see why as we go through this presentation. So who am I, aside from the person presenting in front of you tonight? I'm a deep technology entrepreneur. I kind of blush when I say that. It's I'm just not so formal. I really think of myself more as an award-winning hacker. And the awards have come from various things that I've built, so we can discuss this later. I'm also a world traveler and a surfer. Not the best surfer, but I know where to find the easy waves, which is why I have to travel around the world. And a startup and business mentor. This is the way for me to pay back all of the nice things that have been done for me. So one thing that I really want people to understand is that when someone gives you a boost up, it's important for you to look for others to lift up. And the rocket you're seeing on the side, yeah, at least in the United States, I like to build high power rockets. That one right there went up to 3,000 meters. We can talk about that later. I like to build crazy things. Educational background. So mine's a little different. We Americans sometimes have a different path. I went to Seattle Central, where I studied media and used the grades that I got there. I got a really good GPA, so I got a scholarship to go to Washington State University, where my focus was on physical anthropology. So how does this relate to science and technology? Well, media studies taught me humanities analytics. It taught me how to think and how to analyze. And anthropology taught me how to analyze in the field, how to find hidden things, how to take notes and document. At the American system, there were also other places I learned. I had amazing jobs that I took to pay for my school. So I would go, for example, when I was at Seattle Central, my after-school job was at Zymogenetics, where I was part of the team developing growthactin, platelet-derived growth factor. I pulled electrophoresis gels in the late 80s. That was really hard to do, and executed the transgenic mouse procedure. See, that's the thing. You can learn all of the time, and this is something I'm sharing with you. But what did I do after university? Probably something a lot of you want to do. I lived a life of adventure. I did nothing related to what I studied. What you're seeing here is I actually ended up teaching Russians how to operate factory trawlers in the Sea of Ojotsk. And my commute, the helicopter you see right there, that's how I would get out to the boats out at sea. I'd have to wear a uniform. I mean, a lot of crazy things I did in the 90s. So how I would go to these vessels out at sea is the helicopter would fly out to the boat, and then I would be lowered on a cable. I'd like to tell you that I had a lot of machismo and was like, yeah, let's do it. I was scared every time. So after this life of adventure, one needs to settle down. I met my wife. When I was going to go to Russia again, my wife said, well, if you go to Russia again, I won't be here. So I had to figure out something to do in the United States. So I became a developer at Microsoft. And I was living the American dream. This is 2014. You know, this is my house. Why would I leave this? Why would I go to Deutschland? Well, there's something else going on here. I mean, I had this normal working life, right? You know, here I am at Disney Technical Services. My office, I had an incredible view. I was working with developing some bleeding edge technology. Why would I leave this? It wasn't normal at that time. I was very sick. I was dying. So my apologies if these photos are shocking, but this is my truth here. I have something called hereditary angioedema type 3 seronegative. And in the year 2014, I had 6 attacks so severe, I had to go to the ICU. It was killing me. Now, in the American system, after I got out of the ICU, that doesn't mean I had a week to recover. I would go right back to work. So can you imagine what it's like being discharged from an ICU after being intubated? I don't need to show you those photos. And then going to work the next day. I did that for a year and it broke me and I got sicker and sicker and sicker. And what really almost killed me was, you'll see my picture of my little cat, Ted. He was sick too. And I had to take him to the veterinarian and put him down. I held him as he died. And I realized that was my future. I was going to die like him. Anyway, this is really kind of sad, but I want you to feel this. It was rough. And that little molecule right down there, that's the one that wreaks havoc in my system. It's called bradykinin. Onward to Germany. So why did I go to Germany? Because I had two job opportunities in Seattle. One to restructure a payroll system for the University of Washington to convert it from COBOL to a RESTful architecture. The other was to do basic QA management for Amazon. And I thought, why the hell do I want to do this? I'm going to die in 6 months. This is no legacy to leave. So after talking to my wife, I started applying for jobs in Europe, and bingo, someone from Berlin said, we'll fly you over for an interview. So that's what I did. I flew to Berlin, failed that job interview because I got sick the night before the job interview and went to Charité and was in the Charité ER getting treated for hereditary angioedema, got discharged from the hospital at 4 in the morning, went to the interview at 8 in the morning, made it for 3 hours, and then I basically passed out during the interview. But that wasn't going to stop me. That time in Germany, I was so sick, I had to stay in Berlin for 2 weeks to recover to get healthy enough to fly. And I fell in love with Berlin during those 2 weeks. So when I came back to the United States, my wife said, you know what? Why die here? You love Europe so much. Go back to Berlin. Go get a job. So on January 19th, 2015, I left alone with a one-way ticket, 2 suitcases, one full of medicine, about $750,000 worth of medicine, and a one-way ticket. I didn't even have a job. I had an interview waiting for me. And so what you're seeing right here is that was my last meal in the United States, some barbecue at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. And I flew over and I got sick on the flight. These horrible photos you see of me down below, that's what happened to me on the airplane. I had to give myself radical medical treatments, locking myself in the bathroom of the airplane for 6 hours. Now, how did I get away with that? They asked me what was wrong, and I said I ate the barbecue at the airport. And so that gave me a pass to be locked in the bathroom for 6 hours as I was weaving IVs into my arms and a whole horror show of effects that was going on to me. But I made it to Berlin, and I collapsed. And then I made it to the job interview and got the job 3 days later. And I'm sharing this with you. If you're going through something tough, just go one more step. You can do it. I know it. And now I'm reborn in Germany. So this is a quick story. I went to Charité immediately because I've been corresponding with the doctors there. If you have a rare disease and you choose to become an expert, doctors will like to talk to you because they like it when a patient presents. It actually starts questioning them about their publications. So this is for me to show you what the difference in healthcare systems are like. I went to Charité and visited Professor Marcus Margerel, who is my hero. I'm alive because of him and the doctors at Charité. And he said, I brought in all of my medicine and put it on a table. And he looked at it, he's shocked. He said, Mike, can I bring my colleagues in? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. He brought in 20 researchers into this little office and showed them this pile of medicine. And then he looked at me and he looked at the researchers and he pointed at that medicine and he said, This is how they do medicine in America. They are barbarians. He put his hands on my shoulder, looked me in the eye, and he said, Mike, I will not let you die. I will fix you. I've been in remission for 6 years since that visit. Thank you, Charité. Thank you, Berlin. And thank you, Germany. And by June 2015, I was stable and healing and had flown my family to Berlin. So Germany gave me a chance and my family a chance to rebuild our lives because we lost everything in the United States. That house I showed you, I lost it. Everything. Lost everything. And Germany gave us a chance to rebuild. We lived in 5 places in 1 year as we settled. And what I want you to know is if you contribute and have a spirit of gratitude, Germany is happy to give you a chance. And I am eternally grateful to Germany and the people of Germany. But it's more than just one rebirth. Can you imagine what it was like for me to work professionally, sick? I mean, I do intellectual work, and I could barely think after all of those ER visits. I mean, I was a mess. So I really had to rebuild my professional career. And so the job I got, the first one in Berlin, was at Outfittery. Now, this is a startup that it's an online shop where you're able to get customized outfits, and they were doing some breathtaking, groundbreaking work with AI when I started. But then, you know, my career started growing. And as I was working at Outfittery, someone else reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to work for our startup named SmartFrog? Of course. So SmartFrog is a Berlin-based company that builds IP cameras. And because I was with them in a startup, they let me do everything I could. And I can do a lot of things. So I ended up they asked if someone wanted to go to Shenzhen and deal with the hardware. What do you think someone like me would do? So because of Germany, I got my first business trips to China, to Shenzhen, and I was able to get in the factories and design and build 2 generations of IP cameras. And then I got involved with hackathons because someone told me about a hackathon at Charité Hospital, a chance for me to repay the place that I owe my life to. You can see I'm getting really excited here. Of course, I would support Charité in a hackathon. And let me tell you, that hacking health event at Charité, the 3 winners were hardware projects. Yeah. And then, as a result of that, someone asked me, would you like to join EIT Health as a reviewer? And I've been doing that for over 3 years. So Berlin accepted me for who I am. And now I know this is what home feels like. So now I'm on the startup journey because I was with SmartFrog and I was getting the startup bug. I'm sure like a lot of you, hey, I want to control my own destiny. I want to build something. So I started this company called Photonic Insights to build a smart toilet. We can talk about that later. I built something pretty darn accurate that could do some diagnosis. But as with the startup journey, sometimes you have challenges with your partners, and we'll get to that later, right? I had to reboot it. But let me tell you some things that happened in Berlin, right? I saw that science plus entrepreneurship equals great business. And this was a result of going to a photonic presentation at Cosmo in Berlin. It was an epiphany that I'm working in spectroscopy. Spectroscopy is photonics. Science plus entrepreneurship, great business. And oh my God, there is so much great science here in Deutschland. And so again, you know, continuing to expand and being reborn, joined the team that built Meetup AI, the premium AI meetup in Berlin. So definitely check those guys out. Nico and team run amazing AI events. But as with the startup journey, I ran out of money, right? It's one thing to have desire and starting to build things, but I didn't really think about the financial considerations. So I flew off to Bangkok for a year to serve as the enterprise IoT architect for True Digital, the largest telco in the country. And through there, I got another chance to pay back Germany because of my business experience in Thailand. And because I was located there, someone from Singapore, from the German accelerator Southeast Asia, reached out to me and asked, would you be interested in supporting our startups? And I've been doing that for 3 years now. Of course, I am all about supporting German startups. But now let's get a little bit local, right? So I come back, Thailand for a year, got lots of connections, got some money in the bank, so I don't really have to work with funding. Not a good idea. Always go for funding. But anyway, feeling good. And I have connections, space, I've got some leads, but I have no space. I lost my space to build Photonic Insights when I left Berlin to go to Thailand. So I was looking through LinkedIn and saw this description of Potsdam Science Park. What's this? And arranged a visit to go visit this place called Go In, which is this co-working space for science startups. So that's where you see me with the thumbs up right there. The people are so kind. This wonderful lady, Ilka Mai, she calls me and says, would you be interested? Did you know you can get a space here? I was out there so quick to sign the papers, and boom, next thing you know, I have a space in this startup facility, Go In, where I'm bumping shoulders with all of these advanced researchers. I can cross the street and go to InnoF Spec. Fraunhofer IAP is right next door, and Max Planck is across the street. How could you not be happy if you're a science entrepreneur? This is heaven. And it gets even better. Then Ilka and team said, well, Mike, would you be interested in attending High Tech Transfer Talk? Really? I'm just a hacker. No, Mike, you're part of the community. Are you getting an idea here? This is like one of the advantages of Potsdam over Berlin. I got a lot of love in Berlin, but Potsdam, I got love with sugar and a cherry on top. I mean, I felt like I was in family, and I still do. And it gets even better. So as I'm going through the startup journey, hustling, meeting researchers, trying to figure out what to do with Photonic Insights, I find out there's a startup school. It's part of the deal when you're at Potsdam Science Park and working in this ecosystem. Really? So I learned about bridging science and entrepreneurship from experts. Danke. I want to show you, that's my little boy pointing to our office, the first one, the little flyer. That's how proud I am. And I hope that little boy, Alex, becomes a scientist one day and that he is out here in Potsdam. So what else did I do? Well, because I had this beautiful space in Potsdam, you know, an office. Yeah, started something called Project Udlac, where I said I was going to build this sensor in 4 countries in 3 weeks. And this actually opened up and led to creating another startup called Spectrify AI. So had all of this going on in 2019, built the sensor at Fraunhofer IZM, flew to Shenzhen for systems integration, then flew to Bangkok, had the same sensor built at King Mongkut University with some colleagues I had there. And then, boom, went to Sri Lanka to deliver to a potential customer, and we signed an agreement, and thus Spectrify AI was born. And then I flew back, and this was February 2020, right? And you know what's happening next. Boom, Corona. So for the next 2 months, I didn't really do anything with my startup. I dedicated all of my effort to fighting this virus. And I participated in multiple hackathons, including notably the EU versus virus hackathon, where, we set a record for how many projects were submitted. But then at the same time, as 2019 wore along, I ended up exiting Photonic Insights. Not bad. I actually have 2 German partners that are far better at running it for its specific mission, and they purchased it. And it's a GmbH, and now my partners are working with in Cottbus developing an artificial nose. So it's good. So I exited. Will I get money from it? Am I really looking for money? I've got the satisfaction of knowing that I built something that 2 awesome Germans are running and are going to have a business that lasts. And the same thing, I needed to exit Spectrify AI because I just can't fly back and forth to Sri Lanka. And that's what would be needed for me to serve as the CTO and run the technical operations. Not a problem. My partner, Jivan, he's great. I have 8 people scanning T right now in Sri Lanka. So the business is good. I have some shares, but I had to close the office and Go In. And it hurt. And you know what that Ilka did? She came and checked in on me. She saw as I was packing the office and taking down my diagrams, and she saw that I was crying. And that's why you choose Potsdam in this community. I didn't feel ashamed crying. She didn't judge me. She was there to support me and the whole team from Potsdam Science Park. You can see I'm getting a little teary-eyed from this. To feel such love and support when you're a hacker entrepreneur is inspiring and just gives more energy. So from this, I have new projects, right? So where does this lead to? Well, new projects. I've been working on developing a COVID test. I really can't talk about it too much. It has a significant photonic component, and that's what my expertise is being used for. My other projects right now, I'm actively mentoring medtech startups in Spain, which is lovely. And when we're able to travel again, I always like to complain that every time I'm in Barcelona, I'm having to do work. You know, someone should slap me on screen, because if you're complaining about going to Barcelona for any reason, you're kind of a jackass, right? It's a beautiful place. So I'm mentoring medtech startups to help them with their commercialization and scale up, specifically helping them with how they interact with factories. Like, how are you going to build your hardware? Also developing a new technology, quantum phononic sensor. Now, that may sound like a bag of words, but basically it's a way of using sound to understand materials. It's very interesting. And then combined along with this, developing an edge-based AI component. I'd love to answer questions about that. Also, developing a shortwave infrared sensor. So I'm showing you a mock-up right here. This is the offering for Photonic Insights, the scanner and the UI and ST. Down below is a prototype. Of course, it's changed for a shortwave infrared sensor that works between the 800 and 1200 nanometer range with a full width half maximum of 5 nanometers. For you geeks out there, you know that's some pretty hot specifications. So to wrap this up, conclusion, it was a difficult state change, but I had nothing to lose. And my last hope was Germany. Difficult? Oh yeah, but it was worth it. Every day I wake up thankful to be in Germany. Yet this story is not over. There's so much more going on. And I'm open for questions. And what I'd like to close with is take advantage of what's offered here in Potsdam. For a hack like me, it's transformed my life. The reason I'm able to do all of these great things and jump around is because I had so much support from the team in Potsdam, from Potsdam Transfer to Potsdam Science Park, to being able to go to the Max Planck lunchroom and just have conversations with people researching at the Albert Einstein Institute for Gravitational Physics. How can you not be excited? And how can that not be heaven on earth if you want to be a science entrepreneur? So definitely reach out and engage with the resources in Potsdam. And to close, I'd like you to know that chaos is your friend. Be anti-fragile in a VUCA world. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mike.
Journey.
I unmute you. We didn't hear you. So
okay. Yeah. So, are we all good?
Yeah. Now we are all good.
Okay.
I guess I heard the story for the third time now, because we had some rehearsals, obviously, and it's still so emotional and so breathtaking. And are the movie rights taken? Because I guess a movie you want to see 3 or 4 times is the best movie for Hollywood. So can we still buy your movie rights?
I would do it for free in Babelsberg, because you know, the film skills here in Potsdam are epic, right? So I'd give it away for free. I just love to share the story if it inspires people.
It's so amazing to hear that you really enjoy the network and also the ecosystem right here from your own experience. That's quite impressive for me as well. But
I mean, I was welcomed in Berlin, and to think that it could go to another level. I mean, Berlin is awesome and loving and welcoming, and to even conceive that it could get better. Yet it does get better, and that's Potsdam. And what I'd like to share is that Potsdam's a second city, right? And I'm from Seattle, but really it's a second city. Where the real work goes on is in Redmond and Bellevue, right? Everyone knows about Seattle, but Microsoft is from Redmond, okay? And so we have all of this power in Berlin, right? Don't forget Potsdam. And what I like to think is that in technology, we can think of Berlin is Seattle. Everyone knows about it. But there's also this second city right next door. Potsdam is Bellevue, Redmond. There's a lot going on here as well.
It's like from the chat, I see a lot of people are taking notes from that, what you say. You motivated already someone to move to our region. So that is also a
come
good
to Berlin. Come to Berlin. Come to Potsdam. My God. Do you know what it's like when you like take transit to go to the office out in Golm? Every day you're going through a palace. I mean, and then you go to lunch in the Mensa. For people that aren't from Germany, Mensa is the lunchroom, like in a university, and it's so easy to strike up a conversation. I mean, you're not even paying, and you're getting taught by these postdocs. Oh my God.
All right, I would bring in the first question from the chat, because this is one question I wrote down as well. So let's see. Mike, you talked about.
Yeah, I would go for, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I would go for a fund rather than work for the money. Do you know why? It's because of some recent experience I have with the VCs, and that now I kind of understand where they're coming from. Yeah, you're going to need to get your own money just to pay for life, right? But what I found from my experience is what I estimated is needed to build a company, thinking that I could fund it myself. And then the reality of the burn rate when it happens are two different things. And that I wish I would have went for some of the funding schemes immediately. I thought I could just be smarter, right? Oh, my tech is so good that everyone's going to want it. And then I come to find out there's a lot of failed startups that had that same idea. So that's why I would rather go for the fund first, because if you're going to go on a deep technology journey, you need to have a certain amount of capital to push you through, because you're not going to monetize in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I see also another question. It's regarding how to register for the Potsdam Startup program. So first, if you have a startup topic or a startup idea and you want to get some advisory, etc., and we will talk about this in our discussion session later on, you can always contact us for sure. And you will, as you can see, and as Mike described already, you will come to a perfect ecosystem, basically. And maybe, Mike, you have also some ideas.
Well, I mean, just come out here. Take the train out to Golm, okay? The weather's getting nice, and we're all kind of Corona cooped up and Corona crazy. So take the train out to Golm, get your, walk around with your mask, and just check it out. It's that easy. And when you contact the services from Potsdam Startup or Potsdam Science Park, I mean, you get the email back the same day. Okay, I don't want to hook you guys on a service level agreement or guarantee, but they respond quickly and with real information, actionable. But just come out, check out the campus.
Mike, you're a born networker, I would say. So you have like 1 trillion LinkedIn followers. So maybe you founded this meetup, this AI meetup in Berlin. So how important is networking in a startup journey or for building the own business? And maybe you have some tips for the LinkedIn users.
Absolutely critical. You can never stop networking. It is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week task. So if you're in a startup and you're not comfortable networking, that's okay, but you'd better partner up with someone who can. Okay. Now, what is my tips about networking? Be genuine. Remember, not everyone is going to like you, so you don't have to like everyone. Right? But you need to be pleasant and professional to everyone and be respectful. So when you network, it's not about getting business cards or business contacts. I think of it very differently. I want to connect with the person, and then if the business flows from connecting with the person, great. And that's, I think, why I'm successful in networking, because I'm not trying to, hey, will you buy my service? Am I trying to sell something? No. I genuinely want to get to know you. I'm happy meeting people. And my LinkedIn tip is the same, that treat every interaction on LinkedIn. Imagine that individual is in front of you. Don't think of it virtual. Go from the heart. Be human. People who've interacted with me will know I have lots of spelling errors and I might say some weird things, but that's because I'm human. Do not use automated tools to network, right? Because people like me, I see that. When I get a spam mail, I think, have you commented on any of my posts? Do you even know me? Am I just a business connection? I'm a human. You're a human. Connect to a human. And I'll give one tip if you want to increase your followers, but don't, it's something I call surf the likes. If you post something or make a comment and someone who's not a first level connection likes it, that means, and this is time dependent, invite them as a connection. They liked something you wrote and you're fresh in your mind. Now that means you can't do that 3 months from now. You need to do it like within a few hours. But if you want to build your connections and you do this consistently, like I have for 5 years, yeah, you can get 13,000 good followers. There is no way to get quick followers. It is a day-to-day labor of love, I might add.
So do we and the crowd can get more networking tips from you on Wonder after our event?
If the audiences would love, if they're interested in speaking with me, I'll stay on for an hour. I think y'all bought some cognac for me too, so I think it'll be quite a lucid discussion. Happy to share. Happy to answer any questions afterwards.
Talking of which, I found one more question. Christian, what do you think?
One more is okay, yeah.
Okay, so for all the other questions we didn't have the time to answer, please bear with us. So we have a question from Franziska.
Okay, let me take a breath on this. Franziska, this is a great, okay. I'll just tell you what I would do. I would start the business in Germany and I would scale it in the United States. Yes, it's easier to get an idea going in the United States, but you have no social system to support you. Okay, so that means in the United States, basically you fail or you're homeless. Okay, that's not a nice way to start. I think it's a hybrid model. Start the business in Germany, deal with the paperwork because the paperwork is what gives you security from failure, right? Grow here, be born in Germany, and then learn to scale in the United States, and then go back to Europe and conquer the market. And I would elaborate on this a lot more. So no, it's not harder, and it's different paperwork, but it's not harder. It's just a different hard.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Franziska. Anita told you Mike will be there in Wonder after in the after show networking, so there will be plenty of time to ask him all your questions. And with that, Mike, I would like to thank you again, and would send you back to the backstage area because we have some other guests that we want to invite to join us.
Vielen Dank, and audience, what Joseph's going to share with you, this guy is one hell of an engineer and entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Vielen Dank.
All right, see you later. All right, before we come to this discussion with our two other guests, we have a short video to get in the right mood. It has some facts about international founding in Germany, and just take a look.
Yes, and in this second round, as Christian already mentioned, we want to get to know Joseph, a future entrepreneur, a bit better, and our colleague Till, the international startup advisor here at Potsdam Transfer.
Hello.
It's amazing to have you both here. If you have questions to Joseph and Till, please write them also directly into the comments, and we will try to answer as many as possible for you with them. So while Till will talk a bit more about his work here at the International Startup Service, Joseph will share with you his personal journey straight into Potsdam and his touch points with our startup service, and as well his startup idea. So Joseph, I will pass over the mic, the digital mic, to you straight.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to try to share my slides. So quickly do that. Here we go. Okay. All right. Can everybody see this? Yeah. Can you see?
Yes, Joseph.
All right. So hi everyone. My name is Joseph Milogo, and I'm here from Burkina Faso, West Africa. And I have a PhD in mechanical engineering, and I specialize in system optimization. So today I'd like to talk about my company, which is on a personal safety app. And I hope it changes the way people approach danger. So for example, we take Sophia, is a young girl living in Berlin, and she worries about domestic violence. And this is because, well, in Germany, every 3 days, a woman dies of this problem. And now she's worried because she has a 7-step solution to this, and she doesn't think it's good enough. Of course, she looked into the options that are out there on other apps and devices, but they all have the same problem. So they all provide you with this issue. You must be part of your own rescue. Now, this doesn't work in Sophia's case because, well, just like me, she has a tendency to panic, and that's the problem. So this is where we come in. We propose a solution that we call Gina. It's a SaaS. It runs on a smartwatch. It's fully automated. It's AI-based and audio recognition system. And what it does is it reads your body and try to understand what's going on. And based on that, it can notify people that you predefine, or it can call 112. That is up to you. You can make that selection. It works great on all ages. And what we did realize is there was a very, very big desire from the elderly community to actually use this application. So there's a very good opportunity there for us. This is because it helps address some of the problems that they have, which is independence, convenience, cost, because we can bring the doctor to their homes and they don't have to go and clog all these hospitals. And well, we also help mentor their cognitive ability, their mental health, their physical well-being, and all of these on our platform. So it's very exciting, and we're looking forward to a challenge. Of course, you can support us. Please, there's a survey here. On the first one, it takes barely 30 seconds to fill it up. And then you have the other 2 links to our LinkedIn pages. So please follow us and all that stuff. Thank you. So that's it. Yep. So very short. It was hard to follow Dr. Mike on this one, but we tried.
Thank you for sharing this. What would be interesting for me, well, and also for our audience is, Joseph, where exactly does your professional background actually lies?
So I have done, I've been quite all over the place. I did mechanical engineering mainly, but I, after my master's degree, I went into programming, a lot of programming and system optimization, meaning everything was about mathematics. Every system that we found, we tried to learn it and try to understand it using data and all the data mining techniques, turn into equations, and then try to optimize it. That's really where my strength is. And for example, this company comes out of one of the algorithms that we wrote, which is all based in math, just math. But I am a mechanical engineer.
Wow, amazing. So, and actually, how was your touch point then to our startup service and specifically to Till Meiling?
Oh, so I was in Taiwan until 2018, and then I was working on this idea already. I just tried to figure out how it's going, and then in Taiwan, the atmosphere is a bit different from Germany and US and everything. So I tried to go away from this environment and find something more proper. So I was moving to Germany because I have family right here in Belgium, and also I have family here in Germany. And what I did is I looked into the different opportunities that they had online. And well, Berlin is great. I think it's the capital of Europe when it comes to startups. But I was looking into places that will be closer, and I looked into Potsdam because it was such a beautiful city. We've been there quite a few times, although it was during coronavirus times. We still managed to see quite a few people. I went through the university. We saw a castle, some great, beautiful places, and it was the University of Potsdam. So I looked into it, tried to figure out if there were students that were doing things related to startup. And I found Dr. Till. I wrote to him. He replied in, I don't know, a day or the same day. He went really fast.
Yeah, I think it was quite fast. And I still remember because you just started our international startup service.
Yes,
and
I'm the first.
yes, you were our first international founder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so that was what we did.
Mm-hmm. So Till, would you like to introduce yourself now? We're very excited to hear more about you.
Also would like to share a short presentation. Should be able. I think I've been already introduced twice as well, but my name is Till Meiling, and I'm originally a physical chemist by trade. So I know from my own experience, a lot of the problems and challenges scientists face is they try to transfer their research results into scientific results. And I'm therefore very pleased that I'm able to assist international founders in realizing their startup ideas here in Germany. Through our proven startup support, we will help you to further develop your business idea, and also we can help you with the acquisition of financing and funding. Further, we can help you with access to infrastructure, the regional economy, and our existing networks. Also, through our international startup service, we can help you with professional onboarding integration for you and your family members. And if you're from outside the EU, you will not only get access to Europe's largest market, but also to the European single market as a whole. And as always, our services are free of charge because our goal is the successful establishment of foreign founders and the long-term commitment in the Berlin-Brandenburg metropolitan region. If you have any questions or just want to arrange a first meeting, you can contact us by email at startup@potsdam-transfer.de or me directly at meiling@uni-potsdam.de. So let's get started. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing as well. So Till, how many startups or international founders are actually in this international area currently? Do you know it?
We're currently at about 20 teams, which in different stages, like from the first contact, or like Joseph, who is now going through our process, and he had his 3-day workshop, Startrampe, how we call it, 1 week back and thing. And yeah, currently we have started at different stages, and I'm looking forward that we will have the first companies established this year.
Fingers crossed on that.
I would have a question for Joseph, actually, because we are talking a lot, Till was talking a lot, what can the startup service do for you, for international founders, but I would like to know what international founders, in your opinion, you have a really international background, what they bring to the ecosystem here in Germany, in Potsdam.
So I think there's always a lot to benefit when you have international people where you live. The reason is we have such different views on things, a lot of culture, just a lot of different experiences mainly. So in my opinion, Germany has been great at a lot of things for a lot of years, but at some point it looks like the progress is going vertically. You're getting better and better at some things, and some of the other things you're kind of forgetting them. So the foreigner is the one that will come with those kind of information and be like, hey, you're doing this one, this is great. This actually has a great opportunity in the other country. So we might actually be the links to opening up Germany to other countries, because you have so many good things here. You're trying to build elevators for skyscrapers. In the other countries, they just need stairs to go to the 5th floor. So something like that. there are a lot of things here that the rest of the world can benefit from, and maybe we are the people that will come, take it, and bring it out there, make your German market bigger. Or we can also be the people here that will bring some of what we have from our countries and try to make the German market benefit from it. For example, I realized that you have a lot of people who do a lot of research, a lot of experiments in their own homes, but they're doing it. Maybe they don't even think other people value it because, well, as I said, you're focused on some things, and maybe we come here and we just take all of these pieces and put it together, and hopefully we can be an ignition to some things that were not here before. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Right, and you have your network all over the world, which you bring and which you maybe sell or bring the products you develop here in Germany back.
Perfectly, exactly. So, for example, some of the things that we learn in Taiwan, because they do things completely different, the whole different life over there. Same in China, Singapore, and everything. And when we come here, it's just not here. Sometimes we want to recreate that environment, and we bring in some experiences that the others don't have. But there are a lot of things also here that we see here, just like the German quality, German products that we think, wow, if I had this back home, things would be just so much better. And you try to bring it over there. So these exchange, these trades, we will probably amplify them, and hopefully we can push forward to a point where, yes, you will be even more international than you are right now, because you've been opening your door so much to international people right now. We can only be grateful. Just like Dr. Mike said just now, it's great. It's really great to be here.
And I think it's a clear win to have more internationals, and specifically international startups over here, because as you mentioned, I can totally agree, the more perspectives, the better actually. But I assume that there are not only positive things, but also challenges. Maybe you want to share a bit more about this as well.
Like Mike said, there are challenges, which is going to be mainly paperwork. There's a lot of that going on. So we're not really used to that. Most of the countries just want to get things done quickly and get over it so we can get to the good part of it. But even though it's tough to go through the paperwork, it's actually one of the things that give you all the security for later on. So it's it might look like a difficulty, but it's actually a necessary tough moment to go through. The second will be the language. So I did 5 years of Latin before. It reminds me a lot of Latin German, so it's quite a bit of a fight, but it's still a great language to learn. It's not just Germany. You can always go to the neighboring countries as well with it, and it's a beautiful language. I mean, you have Einstein and all these I don't know, Molière, everybody else, who actually wrote in German. So you can get access to some of these things that you will not get unless they were translated, for example. So it's still a great thing. And right now, of course, Corona, but yeah, it's still, you see what it is. There are so many other good things that come from this fight that will take it. There's a lot of support from the government, for example, for startup communities. There's a lot of support from the people for the startup community. And there's always something that is just making the difficulties look not so bad. So you're like, all right, let's go with it. More importantly, you always gain from it. So no problem at all. We're okay.
I guess that's also a point where Till can jump in, basically helping with all this uncomfortable work in the beginning.
Yeah, I think for every founder in the beginning, the bureaucracy is quite a challenge, and that we can help you with language and where to go and what you have to fill out and when, and also the process. So because due to Corona, we also had to adjust, and we started doing now everything remotely. So if you're currently in your home country, don't worry, just schedule a meeting with us. We can start the whole process digitally and remotely. And then we also start, because a lot of our startups are now not in Germany at this point. And so we can then start the process, what we have to do to get you to Germany and what would be the best time to get you to Germany, both for you personally and also for your startup idea. And yeah, we will guide you through this process in the end and help you if you arrive here so that you start feel at home. Like, and might be just starting with finding a flat or maybe a kindergarten or a school for your kids, but also like if you want interested in sports, where you could join a sports club if you'd like football or something else. And all these day-to-day issues you have, finding a doctor, we will be able to help you and try to make you feel as welcome as possible.
Yeah, and as Joseph already mentioned, and I want to pick this up a bit, like the German government is currently supporting international startups a lot. And that's also why we established the International Startup Service. Can you, Till, say something more about the support regarding to, for example, the scholarship?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different schemes how you can get funding, like the official ones like VCs and bank loans, but there's also from the federal and the state governments different funding issues. First, a lot of people already know, and which is really sought after, is the Exist Startup Grant, which gives you 3 scholarships for 3 founders for over a year plus some pocket money to buy stuff or to contract some other companies to do work for you. And I think in total you can get about up to 150,000 euros just to get your idea started. And the good thing is, while you get the scholarship, you're allowed to start your company. So if you have somebody asking you, oh, I want to buy your stuff, so are you already established? You can start establishing a company. You can benefit from the scholarship whilst getting your startup off the ground. And maybe after a year, after the scholarship, you have your company running, and then you can transfer it to the full entrepreneur in your own company.
All right. So, Anita, maybe we end the talk with a question from the audience for Till again. Do we only deal with tech startups?
No. We're interested in every idea. So if you have just some question or want to start your startup here, like I said, just contact us. And we also, if we can't help you, we have a vast network of other agencies which are helping startups. So we will forward you to this agency and schedule a meeting with them so you can then pitch the idea. So we are always looking in to get the best starting opportunities for you and find the best way to get your startup started here in Germany.
Right.
Yeah, so if you have any questions.
So much. Thank you so much for sharing this. Christian, would you like to add something? Maybe I missed something. If that's not the case, I have.
I guess I would add in WonderMe later, but you have something on mind, I see.
Yes, and I would also say we should discuss this later on in WonderMe, just to wrap this finally up. Like in one sentence, why is it beneficial to found your own business out of science? That's the last question to Joseph before we.
No, out of science? Oh, out of Potsdam Science Park, you mean?
I mean, out of your research.
Oh, well, it's just passion. This is exactly the kind of thing I love. I like to really go into the depth of things, spend my days, my weeks, every time just looking into the same problem. It's a problem that is very important to me to solve. I think it can have a great impact on for everybody else, a positive impact. So I really want to make it a reality. It's really just that.
Amazing.
I really like that because the word passion, because many compare startups to marriage, and marriage without passion will not last long. So that's a great comparison.
Thank you. All right.
All right, and thank you. We will see you in the after hour networking.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay, see you in a bit then.
See you, everybody.
All right, Till I make you disappear. Oh, he's gone. All right, so before we go into the after show networking, know us, there is a short advertisement blog about upcoming events. So I will share also now my slides. Give me a sec. And I don't find them, so I have a backup. No problem. We do it. All right. So as you see, there are some upcoming events. The first one, the most important one, is the Startup Speed Matching, organized by my colleague Ole. The area is all about, it's on May 6th, it's all about meeting startups and co-founders. And you can also attend as a guest there. It will be in German, but shouldn't be a problem because it's all about networking. So you can talk to all the people in English. There is a QR code for the registration. You find it on our website, and we can, I guess, we post the link to the registration also in the chat. And if you have any additional questions to this event, Ole will be in the after show networking as well. Just contact him and ask him all your questions. He's happy to answer them. Then in June, there will be another matching event. It's the matching day of the University of Potsdam in cooperation with the WFBB and Potsdam Science Park. That is more about normal jobs in local businesses, but also in startups. And we will be also there to and have like a consulting hour, so you can ask us question about starting your own business. Then the next big event is in cooperation with the famous Falling Walls Foundation, and there we will partner up with them and have the workshop from PhD to innovator here in Potsdam. In Potsdam, it's digital, but we organize it with them. It's in English, and it targets especially international researchers here in the Potsdam Berlin area. It's a great opportunity to learn how to get from your research to a startup or a business idea. Then a little bit later in June, there is another Startup Basics workshop. It's a series we do with the BPW, the Business Plan Wettbewerb, or competition in English. And this one, it's from me actually. It's a Lego Serious Play. So I will introduce you to the Lego Serious Play methodology. It's really nice. And after that, July 1st, the next Startup Streaming Night. So save the dates. And really last but not least, the application period for the Berlin Brandenburg Innovation Award is still open. So if you have an innovative idea, business, research project, whatever, as long as it's somehow innovative, apply and have a chance for €10,000 and some additional network, image film, and really great stuff. All right, now we're back. And with that, I guess we are at the end of the show, Anita.
Time has gone too fast, but I'm very happy to see you all now again on Wonder. What is also important for that, please download Google Chrome for that. That's the best way how to use Wonder.
Yeah. And with that, I would, we just want to thank all the great speakers we had today, all the people in the backstage area and the technical staff, especially Thilo and Elisa from the Potsdam Transfer team, and you, the audience, for tuning in again. And hopefully we see each other again next time. If you have feedback for us, feel free to send it to storynight@potsdamtransfer.de. And for all of you coming to the After Show Networking, see you in a minute. And for all who are not joining, see you soon and stay healthy. Thank you for tuning in.